fold here and just follow the instructions. So cut one of these guys on the fold as the pattern indicates. And then of course 2 of these for the back. And for this part, the actual yoke, you're going to cut 1 on the fold in fabric and 1 on the fold in interfacing. We'll also go over how we're going to finish the top of this skirt, and when we do that we might cut 1 more, but for now, just 1 is fine. Huh?
Are we going to learn hemming?
Uh-huh.
Soon?
Yep, that's part of what we're going to do on the skirt. Yes, definitely before the weekend. Okay. Definitely before the weekend. So we have the front piece, which is cut on the fold. We want to make sure that we mark that match point that's right there. That's a really critical marking. And then you'll also see there's a notch partway along this curved top section. We want to mark that as well.
So you want 2 of each on the big and then 1 for the little?
Hmm?
2 of each for the, or 2 for the front skirt, pieces of fabric, 2 for the back.
This one is, you can see the mark here indicates that we should cut this on the fold, so you'll need to cut 1, but it just needs to be on the fold.
Oh, okay.
As indicated here. And then we have a couple of marks here on the side, notches there, we want to mark those as well. And the nice thing is if you forget how many you're supposed to cut out, the pattern says right on there how many to cut, so just follow the instructions right on the pattern. And then for our back piece, we'll want to also mark the notches on the side here, and we'll want to mark our dart so we know where that is on each piece. And then we'll also want to mark where this seam allowance is, because you can see it's more than a 1/2 inch, so we want to make sure we know where that is. That, and then we're going to mark here. Alright, and then as we have done before with the dart, we want to mark where that end point is. It'll say mark dart point here. Remember, that's industry standard where we would mark it on the pattern, but we're going to go ahead and mark it at the end where we actually want it to stop, so we know where to stop. And then on the little guy right here, what we want to do is mark that little match point that's there. And then we also want to mark the notch that's along this edge as well. So I've done that on this piece here. So I'm going to put aside the yoke for right now, along with that interfacing piece. And we're going to start with the skirt itself. And what I want to do is I want to make sure I put in the darts before I sew the pieces together, because it'll be easier to sew when it's just on a flat piece. So I'm going to mark out my darts like we've done before. So I'm just marking from the end of the dart leg to the point. On both sides.
So those sides aren't connected.
not connected because these are the ones that we cut 2 of.
Okay.
We've got 2 pieces of fabric here.
Okay.
So now I have the dart marked on each of them. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch up those darts to start us off. So again, we'll fold and match up those dart legs. Make sure it comes to that point at the end. And we're pinning right along that line so that we can make sure that our dart is even on both sides.
As a measure, so you had the fact that you cut out the fabric, you had the pattern on top, and you did 2 of them. And so then essentially what you did is you did the dart on one, and you flipped it, and then you did it on the other, so fashion sides would be together.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, fashion sides would be together. Great. Good question. All right. So I'm making sure that my machine is back on a stitch length of a 3. I have a regular foot in. No funkiness. I'm on a 0 with my buttonhole marker because I don't need to do a buttonhole right now. Just make sure everything is reset nicely. And then we're just going to back stitch and stitch along this dart. Ending right at that point.
If you go right there, it doesn't walk. If you go right there, it doesn't.
Alright, so now we have one dart in. We'll do the other one and then I'll go press both of them at the same time.
That's the back part, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, this is the back of the skirt. And we can put it on our little half form so you can see how it looks. You guys will be excellent at making doll clothes by the time it's done.
That's what I'm worried about with our final.
You're like, there's so much.
Having to pin it down. That's what the lady told me. She's like, do you have cardboard? And I was like, for what?
Cardboard?
I'm working with the knit. And so she was telling me that I could pin it on cardboard. And I was like, why would I have to do that involved? Because it's so big.
That's cute.
I'm making leggings.
Alright, so there we go. We've got both darts in. I'm going to go ahead and press them really quickly, so just as we normally do. Press as we've sewn, and then we're going to press it to one side. And which side do I press it to?
Towards the center.
Towards the center. That's right. Perfect. Alright.